Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. We are doing a live Ask Me Anything today. I'm really excited because it means you get to ask me any questions you have. We can talk about my book Golden. We can talk about my upcoming release Jaded. We can talk about writing. We can talk about life. We can talk about social media if you guys happen to be my author followers or you are a book blogger or booktuber who's trying to grow your platform. If you've got a question, hit up my comments below. I'm really excited for today, and I am dual screening this. So I am up here on Facebook Live and down here on Instagram Live. Now, I have been having a little bit of trouble with my phones not giving me questions you guys are sending me, so I am pulling it up on my computer over here. So technically, we have got 3 screens going on, and I'm really excited. So if you see me looking over here, I am just checking for your questions. It's loading slowly, so give me just a second on that. But we can talk about anything you want to talk about today, so if you've got questions, hit me up now. We are pulling up that screen, and there is my broadcast, which I'm going to bring right up, and we can start answering some of your questions. Now, I know that there were a few people who were not able to make it because they are hanging out on this beautiful Saturday morning, having brunch with their friends, and some of you have written in to ask some really great questions. So if you have asked a question, I will do my best to get that answered today if we are not flooded with the rest of these questions. So I'm still having just a touch of trouble. Why are you doing this to me? Just having a touch of trouble here, but give me 1 second to try to get that up there. And if you have, that doesn't like me either. I can see that you guys are watching. So if you've got questions, write on into me and let me know what is up. I might refresh that page. There we go. So while we're waiting for people to get logged on, because you know it takes a minute for people on Instagram to be jumping on. Hey, thanks for joining. We are doing a live broadcast. Ask Me Anything right now. I am dual screening this, so I'm on Facebook Live up here and on Instagram Live down here. And I see I've got people hanging out on both. Connie and Lily are here. Hi, Lily. I'm so glad that you joined me. If you've got questions about Golden, about Jaded, about writing, about life, about social media, about whatever, now's a great time to ask me. I have been having just a little bit of trouble getting my questions on my phone, so I am trying to get it up on my my computer over to the side. So if I'm looking over here, that is all that is. I don't know why social media doesn't like me today. All right, we're going to be talking all about Golden, all about Jaded. I see that I'm getting some thumbs up. It lets me know that's working. How am I doing? I am doing okay, Connie. I am doing okay. It's been an interesting weekend for us. We're having an open house over here, so it's a little bit crazy. We got some people showing up to check out the house, and we've got some cool things with Jaded going on, which I'm really excited about. Oh, big news while you guys are typing. I see some of you are writing questions. Big news, though. It is 1 month until Jaded releases. 1 month from today, my brand new baby is out in the world. I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. Which actually brings me to one of my questions. I'm still working on getting those Facebook questions, guys. I don't know what's going on here. But I did have somebody who could not join us right now because she is doing some stuff that she is not able to get on a live feed for. But she wanted to know, what is your favorite line or scene in Jaded? Alexis wrote that in. And Alexis, that is a great question. I do have some favorite lines and some favorite scenes within Jaded. I can't do too much in depth because a lot of people haven't read it yet. I know that Alexis is actually one of my early beta readers, so she's been with me from the beginning of that one. So she actually knows what I'm going to be talking about here. But my favorite, as far as my favorite scenes go, there are, I think, maybe 3 scenes I really love with 4. Oh, no. There's so many scenes that I love within this story. Okay. There is a scene where Jade is talking to her boss, Mr. Arrow, and she has come to the conclusion that she just has no choice. She's going to have to give herself up. Oh, thank goodness. Questions are coming in. Facebook is working again. Woohoo. So she's talking to her boss, and she's just given up. She knows she has to give up her life in order to protect everybody, and he gives her this talk where he says, you have more integrity than anybody else out there. You are doing the right thing, and no matter what is happening to you, no matter what you're going through, you have to do the right thing. You have to have that integrity. You have to be that person. And yes, it's going to cost you, but you have to do the right thing. And I love that. I love that. But then there are some other scenes, and I could just name a whole bunch of this. So I guess that's kind of my answer to yours, Alexis. If you want more of an answer, hit me up later, because I've got it and you've read it, so you know. It won't be spoilers then. Okay, Connie says, you created an awesome book boyfriend. Why would you ask me that, Connie? Do you have a boyfriend in real life? I have book boyfriends, Connie. Book boyfriends. No, I'm not saying anybody. Totally single, because I'm far too busy for that. However, if any of you know a real life Dove Bear, send him over here. That's all I'm going to say. Author question. Lower rating reviews are awful. We know this. But not every book is perfect fit for everyone. If you could tell your reviewers or readers one thing you'd like to see in this, sorry, it cut it off. In these types of reviews, what would it be? Okay. As far as reviews go, we do know that it's not going to be the right fit for everybody, and that's totally okay. Everything is subjective. Everybody's welcome to their own opinions. There are books that I love that other people don't love. There are books that people love that I do not like. My friends and I have had these discussions. There are books that they love and just not my cup of tea. They're not my fit. Personally, I don't think we should be bashing books. So we should never, ever bash books. It's okay for you to say, this was not a good fit for me. But you should not be tearing down books. That is just absolutely dreadful. You wouldn't say that to their face. I would hope you wouldn't say that to their face. So please don't say it online. Don't say it in a review. Be kind to people. Say, it was not my cup of tea, or this was not for me because of these reasons. However, you might like it for these reasons. So I want you to be helpful. With book reviewers, your job is not to give a book report. You are not telling me everything that's happened within the story, and you are not, picking through what you don't like about it. You are being helpful and suggesting books to your friends and to your followers. And so you want to say, you may not be thrilled with it if you were kind of like me and you have these type of opinions on things, but you may like it if you are a fan of these things. So give positive, but also say, hey, listen, this is why I didn't care for it. Maybe it was not as funny for me, or maybe I just didn't sync up with the writing, or maybe I wasn't a super big fan of the storyline, but don't bash it. Don't be mean about it. Don't be cruel. Don't say this is horrible, because you got to be really nice about it and say, I just didn't click with this author, or I thought it was going to be a little different, or maybe you could say the write-up projected something that was different than what I understood as I was reading. Because I've been there. I've seen books where I was really excited from the write-up, but not so much once I got into the book, and it just didn't fit, in my opinion. So if you were going to review something like that, just say, it didn't mesh up with my expectations of it based on what I read for the summary, or based on some of the other reviews that I read. So again, just be nice. Chances are the authors are not going to read your reviews. So if you're sitting there giving constructive criticism, it's pretty much going to fall on deaf ears, because authors are trained not to read these reviews. We are specifically told, do not go to Amazon, do not go to Goodreads, do not read these things, and do not interact with these things. So you're not really helping anybody if you are kind of picking through things. So remember, your reviews are not for the authors. Your reviews are for other book lovers who like the same things you do, and you have to be very professional about it and give them those resources to understand, if you like this type of book, this is going to be for you. And if you are not super fond of these particular things, this may not be a book you want to pick up. So there you go. I hope that was helpful. I feel like I could have been more clear about that had I actually come up with an answer beforehand. But you get the idea. Be nice. Be nice and be aware that you are not writing to the author. You are writing to other people who may or may not pick that up. Connie says, book boyfriends are definitely better. Yes, Connie, they are. Yes, they are. They always are. That's the way it works, right? And Connie also says, I wish people could be that professional. Yeah, me too. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that this is not a book report, and you're not talking to the author. And even if you were talking to the author, why on earth would you say some of those things? Like, if I was hanging out with somebody who created something, I would not sit there and just destroy it in front of them. That would be dreadful. So we really just, as authors, we have to train the industry to realize, as you are writing these reviews, there's a particular way you should be writing this to create really effective book reviews that get you more fans and get publishers to want you to review their books, even if you are not a super big fan of whatever book it is that they put out. If you do a really well-written review that empowers your fans to decide whether or not to read it, they are going to want to work with you in the future. So we just have to train them a little more. At this point, everybody has a blog. Because everybody has a blog, they think they can do whatever, and they kind of follow the example of some of the not so on top of how this actually works type stuff. So we just got to work with them on that. Pro tip here, this is just a little shout out, in the not too distant future, and only because I've been crazy busy have I not done this already, I do have a program called BookTube School, which is totally amazing. I love BookTube School, and it trains people to create a BookTube channel. So book reviewers then can become BookTube people, but this is also really good for book reviewers because it kind of trains you on how to do reviews, how to work with authors, how to interact with them, how to get more books to review, and all that loveliness. So if you are an author who wants to represent BookTube School, let me know, because we're giving out a couple of scholarships. Woo! It's gonna be awesome. Okay, I am seeing more questions. Let me take a look down at my website on my computer because it moved on my screen. Author question for aspiring writers or writing circles. It jumped on me. Hang on. Okay, for aspiring writers or writing circles, what are your thoughts on debuting in a collab or an anthology? Would you ever consider collabing with anyone? Oh, okay, that's a good question. Let me break that one down. So for people who want to be writers or working in writers' circles, would you consider, or what are your thoughts on debuting in a collab or an anthology? Sure, absolutely. You have to be aware that whatever you put out there first is going to be your debut. Some people consider that your overall debut, and some people say that that does not count necessarily as much as a debut once you have a full-length book out that's just you. But I would be aware that whatever you're working with is gonna follow you around forever. It will stay attached to you forever. So if you are working with an anthology, that's totally awesome. I am all about collaborating. I am loving working with people. If you can pull in some of your friends and some other really great authors and make an anthology, do it. That is awesome. Not only is that great for cross-promotion, but it gets you new fans and it brings your fans to other people as well. You are introduced to a whole world of authors. I am all about doing collaborations. But be aware that as you are planning your author life, you need to be very much aware of what you want to put out there and what you want to be your first representation of yourself into the book world. Do you really want to have your very first thing be a shorter story within a collaboration, so when these people find you, they go over to look at you and you have nothing else for them? I personally, and I'm making this up on the spot, guys, because I did not think this one through, but I personally feel like I would rather have a book out, something that they can go and see just exclusively of me, more of a full-length story. So when they find me within these anthologies, they can bounce over to my author pages, my websites, my whatever, and they could find my debut novel, or they could find something that gives them more of me so it's not as short, as small. This one's, kind of sucks them in more, and it keeps them held within your grasp for a longer amount of time. So I almost might have something more, or I would have your own series of short stories, or I would have something where they could get to know your work more. So even if you do not have a full-length book out, put a whole bunch of stories on your website or something. Have something there so that they can see it. So I am not at all against starting out in an anthology. That is totally fine. I know a lot of people who have done that, but you got to be prepared for that next step. So as long as you're prepared for the next step, you are good to go. Whatever that is, a book, a short story, something on your website, some way that you can kind of get them in your grasp and keep them as a fan. Let's see. Are you going to be doing a live video when you get physical copies of Jaded? When will that be? Yes, I am doing a book unboxing when I get Jaded, Connie. I am not sure when that will be because we hit a couple of little snafus. And we're trying to fix a couple of things, so we don't have them yet. Personally, I wanted them a while ago, but some stuff came up. And so we are fixing some things, and when we're done fixing things, then it will be printed, and then I will do my unboxing, and I will let you know. Book unboxing, that's what I was trying to say. I know what you were trying to say, Connie. I knew. I get you, girl. But yeah, I do not know when it's gonna happen, but I can direct message you before I go live so you don't miss it. That's what we can do. Okay, seeing more questions. Hang tight while I look at those. No, I answered that one. There we go. I was looking the wrong way. It says, yeah, the ranting and raving reviewers forget that these books are the babies of authors and that even if they didn't like it, the author still worked his or her butt off on it. That is so true. That is so incredibly true, because whether or not we like something, this is a labor of love for people. People put their heart and soul into their stories, their videos, their photographs, their artwork, their whatever it is that they create. Just because it doesn't appeal to you, just because it doesn't appeal to your best friend, does not mean it's not good. It does not mean it's not valuable. It does not mean it is not worth it. You should not be bashing people and tearing people down just because your tastes are a little bit different than someone else's tastes. So maybe you don't like the dress that designer made. That's okay, boo. Look over there. You do your own thing and let the person love what they have created. Okay, what other questions do we have? I know that I did have one. What is Smarmy's name? No, I am not telling you that. Nice try, but I am not telling you Smarmy's name. There is a character in Jaded. I have told you that his nickname is Smarmy. He is Smarmy. That is like the only way to describe this person. And he comes into the story a little bit later. He was not supposed to be a part of Jaded. He was supposed to have maybe 5 or 6 lines. He's supposed to be in that one scene, and he was supposed to go away. And he didn't want to go away. He wanted to stay, and not only stay, but take over my entire story. So not only did this boy walk into the middle of my scene, but he took over. I just read a comment. I'm going to get to that in a second. He took over my scene, demanded that I give him a part, demanded I gave him a bigger part. He demanded that I did not write him out of my story. I tried to write him out of my story, you guys, and he would not go. He stayed and forced his way in, and there's something I can't tell you. I'm so mad at him. I was writing this story, and I was talking to one of my friends, and for the entire length of the time I was writing the end of my story, I would direct message her, and we would be talking, and I would tell her how upsetting he was making my situations. That was not grammatically correct at all. How upset he was making me. And she just laughed and thought it was the funniest thing ever. To this day, she has not met this boy, but she loves his character because he frustrated me. And you guys are going to love him because he is like swoony and lovely, and like he just is. I can't say anything else or I'll give things away. But you guys are going to love him. I just want to slap him. I really do. I really do. Even as I was reading it to edit it, he just made me want to deck him. You guys are going to love him. You're going to adore him. I just know it. He's going to have one of those cult followings. And I just want to slap him. And no, I will not tell you Smarmy's name. You will meet him in Jaded in 1 month from today, guys. 1 month from today. Does Smarmy wear leather? Are his boots made for what? What do you even... I'm done talking to you, girl. Done. He doesn't. I mean, I guess maybe. Maybe in the next book. Maybe in the next book I'll have to write that in, but no, not really. You guys will know him real soon. You will. Let's see. What else do we have here? Checking my questions over here. I'm actually going to grab some water, guys, real quick. What other questions do you have for me? As I hold up my book. Oh, real quick, while you guys are typing more questions, let me just give a shout out because the Golden Read Along is in just a few days. We have broken down the entire story, the entire thing. We are going to be reading it together as a group, and every single check-in day, which is just about every day. I have some gap days built in case you need to catch up, but just about every day, we will be talking about different things within the chapters and the sections that I have broken this down into. I will be giving you behind-the-scenes exclusive stories. I have bonus scenes, so for those of you that stay through the entire course of this read-along and participate on a daily basis, with the caveat of I understand sometimes life gets in the way and you might miss a day or two, totally okay. as long as you're participating for the majority of the event. I have bonus scenes from other characters' perspectives, some of which are written, some of which are not written yet, which I was actually going to work on this weekend and haven't yet. It's coming. But I've had requests for characters like Lowell. Like, how cool would it be to see Lowell's perspective within the story? And for those of you who have not read that, that is my villain. One of my villains. I have a lot of villains. Y'all, I'm mean. I am mean to my characters. If you're not read Jaded or Golden or Jaded yet, I have a lot of mean characters. A lot. I mean, you'll yell. It's great. I love it. So this is coming up really soon. It is goldenreadalong.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. I almost gave you the wrong website. goldenreadalong.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. Get yourself signed up. It's going to be awesome. Plus, I have extra bonuses, and I have a live event very similar to this at the end where I will be doing an exclusive inside the group live broadcast where I'm going to be answering questions and doing some other cool stuff. It's going to be awesome. Would you consider Team Dove or other Golden or Jaded garb in the future? I totally wear to promote that booktube, y'all. Listen, I have had a bunch of my fans ask me to create shirts that say #DoveLove, which is kind of the running hashtag for Dove from Golden. So yeah, I totally would. I actually started doing the research, and I've been looking for a company to create these shirts for me. I actually have to go, I found a local one, but I haven't been able to actually get my schedule to match up with theirs so I can go see the quality of their shirts. So I am theoretically working on that. I do, and I will tell you this much, I do have some cool swag that I sell in my shop. So that's kind of cool. I sell, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't have it anymore because I just gave my last one away. But I have bear hats for the bears that are really, really cool. I absolutely love them, and I sell those in my shop. So, woo, that's always fun. Do you guys want to see something interesting? I didn't think this through and I didn't plan it, but I definitely should have. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. Real quick, type in a couple more questions for me. I'm going to stand up real fast and I'm going to grab something. And then I'm going to tell you a little story because this is going to be good. So type in your questions. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That's pretty fast, right? Okay, so here's the deal. The other day, I was staging a house. We are working on selling my grandmother's house, and I was decorating it so that I could create a video so that we could sell this house. And in the process, I was making things look really cool, and in her one bathroom, she actually had a jacuzzi tub, which was pretty awesome. And so I took a bunch of candles and I lit the candles and I put white flowers everywhere and I made it look all spa-like, which is kind of incredible. Like, some of you may have seen some of these pictures. It was amazing and even cooler in person. And I was filming it. I was taking some photos. I was really excited about it. And I took some books over and I took my book and I put it on the edge of the tub and it was totally fine. And I took pictures. I put it down by the candles and I took pictures. And I put it over in the corner and I took pictures. And then I put it across. Directly across from me, and it was totally balanced. I promise you it was totally balanced. I checked, I waited, nothing happened. Nothing happened. It was totally fine. Nothing happened. And I moved back to take this photo, and I dropped my book in the water. I didn't drop it, it fell. It was like this, and it went like that into the water. And so we are going to take a tour through a drowned book. Ready for this? This is what happens. So we've got the books. This is the normal book. This is the book that got thrown in the water. I know you cannot tell because of the quality of the phone on the broadcast right now, but this cover is destroyed. Its ink is all weird and it's pixelated and there's weird stuff going on and it's just weird. The pages obviously got bent and weird and like, look at that. This book is still wet. It is Saturday. I dunked it on Tuesday. It's still wet, guys. It's still wet. The pages are stuck together. Like, it's a disaster. And so, unfortunately, I had this horrified moment where I couldn't catch my book, but I do have a photo of it falling forward. it's blurred or I'd show it to you because it's kind of like, it's kind of awesome, but also kind of like mortifying. It's not a good thing. So once it fully dries and stops being all like that, I am actually going to probably take this book and rip it apart. And I'm going to make some really cool stuff out of this. So I'm excited for it, I think. That's my way of trying not to be, like, absolutely horrified over this. Absolutely horrified. You've got a funny story. I was outside reading a couple years back, and I put my book I was reading down, and my goat started eating my book. Sounds like I made it up, but it's the truth. No, I believe that. Goats eat everything. Oh my gosh, that is so sad and so dreadful. Hey, for those of you just joining me, we are doing a live Ask Me Anything. I love doing these AMAs, so if you've got a question for me about Golden, about my upcoming book Jaded, which comes out 1 month from today, or a question about writing, or about author life, or about social media marketing, because you guys follow me on Reading Transforms as well, or if you have questions in general, feel free to ask them now. Hit up the comments. I am dual screening this, so if you see me looking around, I am on Facebook Live up here and Instagram Live down here, and I've got my computer over to the side to get questions that are not necessarily always popping up on my phones. So if you got questions, now is the time, guys. Yeah, but no, goats eating books, that is not good. I'm sorry to hear that they ate your book. I definitely did a photo shoot with goats once. I had a senior who was a senior in high school, and he lived on kind of a farm, and they had goats, and he raised goats, and there was like a dozen goats in this area that they had fenced off for the goats, and I jumped into the area, and they just wanted to come hang out with me, and they were like half my size, so they pushed me around a little bit, but it was kind of fun. They had big horns too. That was an interesting shoot. Yes, it was. All right, what other questions do you guys have for me? Jaded, Golden, oh, you know what I didn't mention? I was answering a question earlier where they asked about favorite scenes, and I did tell you about that scene in Jaded with Jade talking to Mr. Arrow. But what I didn't mention was the butterfly scene, and that is one I've been talking about a lot because you guys kind of latched onto that. I told the story about it once, and you guys are like, butterfly scene, which is kind of awesome. I happen to love that scene because that is something that actually happened to me. So, not in the exact way it happens to Jade, but the sentiments are very much the same. There was a butterfly, and something interesting happened. I'm not going to tell you if it's good. I'm not going to tell you if it's bad. I'm not going to tell you what the reaction was. But that scene was inspired by my real life. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. This happened to me and my sister, and she doesn't remember it. Because I asked her the other day. I was writing my acknowledgments for Jaded. And I texted my sister and I said, do you remember when this happened? She's like, no. Like, but really? We were in like college. How did you not remember this? So, fun times. You will be reading the butterfly scene when Jaded releases 1 month from today. I'm really excited for it. It's going to be awesome. All right, we are hitting just about the half an hour mark. So, if you guys have any last questions, now is the time. Otherwise, we will kind of wrap this up for this time. But again, let me remind you as you are typing in those last minute questions, if you have any, we do have the Golden Read Along in just a couple of days, goldenreadalong.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. We are breaking down the entirety of Golden, and I am giving you inside behind the scenes looks at the story. So each and every section that we check in for, which is just about every day with some gap days in there, I am going to be telling you behind the scenes stories, plus I'm giving away bonus scenes from other characters' perspectives. If you stay and you are active within the discussion for the entire read-along, I have a live event for you guys, plus some extra bonuses. So I'm really excited about it. I hope you'll join us. I know we've got a really great group so far, and I cannot wait for you guys to join us too. goldenreadalong.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. Oh my goodness, I totally just realized I had started to answer a question and I didn't finish it as far as collaborations go. I was asked if I would consider doing a collaboration. Yes, I would, but it would have to be the right person or the right group of people that I was working with. I would definitely do an anthology. I do not necessarily know if I would be able to co-write with people because I work super fast, so it would have to be the right person so that we didn't drive each other crazy because I'm like, let's get this done now, and people are typically like, you need to slow down. So it would have to be the right person, but I would totally consider it because I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. I actually have some ideas going off in my head. So fun times there. But yeah, I would definitely consider a collaboration, and I would definitely do anthologies. Okay. Is there a character in Golden that's elbowed their way into the story like Smarmy? Let me think. So, as far as Golden goes, I have had a couple of people who have kind of written their way into Golden, but I have not despised them for it. So, if you have read Golden, you know that Dove Bear has a best friend. His name is Silas. Silas is really awesome. And I had intended on writing Dove a friend who was going to be part of this story. I did not intend for him to join the story as early as he did, and I did not intend for it to be Silas. So I had started writing a scene where a guy named Silas did whatever. I can't give it away because spoilers. But he walked onto the scene, and like, this is just another guy. This is somebody else who happens to be in the scene. And then once I got partway through the scene, it's like, this is him. This is the friend. So I kind of switched what I was doing, and I let it go, and that's how Silas became Silas instead of whoever I was kind of planning on. So yes, Silas kind of worked his way into the scene. Oh, you know who else did? When I was writing this, there is a point in the story where everybody kind of goes into hiding, and they go to this big storehouse, and not all of the Bears group is there, but a whole bunch of their people are in this big storehouse together. And I had written Illyria into the situation where she's kind of isolated and she's kind of alone and she kind of needs friends. And at that point I knew I needed to give her some friends because she didn't have any. She had no friends. And so she needed somebody she could rely on, especially a girl that she could rely on. She needed some female friends because she has been surrounded by all of these really strong men guiding her every step for a very long time. And so I know she needed to have some girlfriends. So I had planned on giving her some girlfriends. And when I got to that point, the girls were chatting and they ended up calling some of the boys over. And then she had this group of girls and guys, which was really, really awesome. And I loved them all. And then I had kind of let that go and I was moving on to the story. And I knew I needed to add some scenes to it because I was doing something with the book. And I was talking to one of my beta readers. And like, well, what do you think if I expand that scene? So at that point, I had to expand that scene. They liked that idea, and I really gave the boys a lot more room to kind of have conversations and to get to know each other and to tell some of their background stories. So the boys forced their way into my story, and it was kind of cool because I hadn't intended on giving too much about them this early in the series. So it was kind of cool that they kind of worked their way in. Let me see. Will you ever write a short story for the supporting characters of your stories? Ahem, Silas. Will I ever write a short story? Well, I do have some scenes from other characters' perspectives. I have considered doing short stories, but I was kind of just waiting to see more or less how the series would do. So if people were interested in them and they wanted things like short stories or novellas or novelettes or whatever, sure, I would consider it. If there's enough demand for it, I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to explore what Silas thinks and what he has done within the story and what he's done when he's not on the page, when he's like off scene. I would love to explore his backstory. I would absolutely love to explore Dove and Silas and Berwin and Eden before Illyria showed up, because you know I actually go through the process of exploring Illyria and her training before she was sent off to destroy the Bear family in my prequel novella, which comes out in August. It is called Forged. I'm really excited about it, and it's all about how Shadow and Lowell have trained Illyria. And so it doesn't really get into Dove's story, and it certainly doesn't get into the other characters' stories, so it is definitely something I would like at some point to consider doing, but it all depends on you guys. So if you want to see more of that, I do suggest you start some kind of campaign or a petition or something to get me to do it. Because right now, I don't have any official plans to do it. And if you want to see it, you gotta tell me, because otherwise I can live just perfectly fine with my own little backstories in my head, and I don't have to share them with you. Because like, I know, I'm the author, I know what has gone on before and what will go on in the future, and I have endgame for everything. So I actually know exactly how this is going to end. And you guys don't, which is fun. And I can live with not telling you certain things because I already know what they are. So if you guys want to know, you got to do something to get my attention, to get me to do something like that. So I do suggest you gather up your friends and force me to do it. Ta-da! Ooh, I have been talking a lot today. I do like to talk sometimes. All right, any more questions? Last minute questions and we will move on with life. Remember, the Golden Read Along is in just a couple of days. It is goldenreadalong.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. It's going to be totally awesome. You can also stick around because in 1 month from today, we have Jaded coming out. It's going to be amazing. Like I said, we have a couple of little things we are tweaking up and fixing up, and hopefully the advanced copies will be out soon, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be really good. If you guys have not left reviews on Golden yet and you have read Golden, I would truly appreciate it if you would bounce over to Amazon and leave me a review. Because as authors, we have to have a certain number of reviews before we can do certain things like buy advertising for our books in certain locations. And I need a few more so that I can do a couple of the things that I really want to do but haven't been able to do because I haven't reached the correct number of reviews. So if you could be lovely and you could go over to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, Amazon is the main one. So it's great if you give us reviews on blogs, that's nice. It's nice if you give us reviews on Goodreads, but it's helpful if you give us reviews on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and iBooks and the book buying platforms. Those are the ones that actually help authors. So if you could do that, that would be great. I know with Golden, I had a lot of early reviewers, and most of them didn't post on Amazon, which makes me a little sad because a lot of people had my book and a lot of people didn't do it. And you can't force them within this industry, so they just have to be nice and lovely and do it for me. So I appreciate those of you who have actually put reviews on Amazon. I love you to pieces. If you have read my book and you have not put it on Amazon, please. That's it. Please. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a great AMA Ask Me Anything live broadcast over here on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. This has been super fun. We will be doing this again in the not too distant future because I love having these opportunities to answer your questions. And if you happen to be an author, I am going to be hosting a live AMA for Reading Transforms, which you know is my educational platform for authors where I teach social media marketing, marketing strategy, branding. We talk about empowering and equipping your fans to get out there and market for you. We talk about what you need to know about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. We talk about creating better book pictures and all sorts of everything you need to know about marketing your book and thriving as an author in this industry. So we will be doing a live AMA. Not sure when. I actually may do it tomorrow because I'm going to have a quiet house for a little bit of time. So I may actually do one tomorrow. If you are interested, hit up my direct messages. Let me know so that I can let you know when I'm officially doing it. But I am going to be doing it sometime in the not too distant future. So I hope you stick around for that. For those of you who are hanging out here with me just as a book lover, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. If you've not purchased your copy of Golden yet, you can get it right now. And join us for the book read-along. It is goldenreadalong.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. Right now, the ebook is on sale for 99 cents on all of the buying platforms except for Amazon because we had a little glitch and we haven't been able to get it fixed yet. So sorry, you can get it anywhere else for 99 cents. And I hope you join us for our book read-along. You can also pre-order the ebook of Jaded. You will be able to pre-order the paperback and the hardcover of Jaded as soon as we fix those couple of little glitchy things. So basically, once you've seen the book unboxing, you can totally pre-order, which is going to be awesome. Comes out 1 month from today. It's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. And I have been getting rave reviews from people who already have their hands on a copy of it. It's going to be good. I think you're going to like it. And I cannot wait for you to meet Jade and Roan, who's the man who's trying to kill her, and Smarmy, and some of the other characters in the story. It's going to be awesome. You guys, I truly appreciate you being here. This has been lovely. I know this is like the 8th time I've said that, but it's because I really do love you. And I'm really glad that you joined me today. I'm K.M. Robinson, author of the Golden Trilogy and the Jaded Duology. You can hang out with me on social media at K.M. Robinson Books on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. Yes, I do use Snapchat, and I do give behind the scenes that I do not give in the other locations. So you really should be on all 4 of my platforms if you want all me all the time. Bringing the house down, guys. Bringing the house down. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, guys. You have a lovely day and stay inspired.